With tremendous growth came other challenging issues for the search giant Google. The venture capitalists behind the company, Michael Moritz and John Doerr, were pressuring its co-founders to hire a CEO.
They were resistant, but they didn't want to say, you know, we could do it. But they thought they could do it. They went through 12, 13, 14 interviews. They didn't like any of the people they saw. They visited Steve Jobs just to meet him because he was a hero of theirs. And they said to John Doerr after the meeting, why can't he be our CEO?
John Doerr introduced Page and Bryn to Eric Schmidt, a businessman with an engineering background.
You just hired Eric Schmidt. He's come up with a run Google.
Yes, basically.
So what's the idea behind that? I mean, you guys couldn't run it yourself?
Yeah, parental supervision, to be honest. You know,
Eric is the grown-up in the room. I mean, he's in his mid-50s, not mid-30s. He's got a lot of experience. He's more of a diplomat than they are, and that's needed in dealing with the traditional media world, which they increasingly are bumping up against.
By the end of 2001, Eric Schmidt was Google's CEO. Page became president of products, and Bryn the president of technology. The two founders still shared an office.
They have a mind meld. They anticipate each other's words. They back each other up. There's no sense of tension between them. That's one of the great strengths of that company.
With Eric Schmidt in place, Google kept up its spectacular growth, while its rivals slowly faded away. The search engine linked to 3 billion web pages and forged a partnership with AOL, which brought them 34 million new customers.
You had this incredibly profitable company. How are you going to get it to the next level? How are you going to provide the kind of capital growth that they needed?
The solution? It was time for Google to go public.
Being unconventional, they decided that they were going to hold an IPO unlike any that Wall Street had ever seen. They were going to set the price via an auction to determine and try to extract the greatest value from the stock.
The stock price on August 19, 2004 closed at just over $100 a share, making the company worth more than $23 billion. The two founders became billionaires. Soon, the company expanded with Google Maps, Google News, and Google Earth. Their idealism and bold ideas had built their reputation, but the company was stumbling with their free email service.
Gmail was a great product that was really poorly launched.
When users saw ads pop up that were directly related to their personal emails, alarms went off.
When people first saw these ads, they were shocked because they thought, how could these ads be so targeted? You know, I'm reading this email about, you know, my friend's vacation to Hawaii, and I'm getting ads about Hawaii. Is somebody snooping into my email?
The concern around Gmail launched a much deeper, fundamental argument about privacy and trust.
Do you know how Google's using all the information it collects on you? All of the web searches that I've done for years and years, all of the emails that I've done, potentially information about health records, information about the books that I'm looking at, information about where I'm going because I'm typing it into Google Maps. In a sense, they're the big brother that we've been talking about all these years.
The ultimate big brother was about to put their don't be evil philosophy to the test. In 2006, Google reached an agreement with China for access to their 400 million web users with one condition. They censor search results of banned topics. For Bryn, son of Russian immigrants, it was a troubling decision.
At Google's Friday meeting, Sergey spoke with passion about growing up in the Soviet Union and how his parents literally escaped the Soviet Union to come to America and what that meant to him. And that dialogue happened, including everybody. They wanted to hear from all the employees there.
Sergey swallowed hard, but they all said at Google, this is the biggest consumer market in the world, we have to be here.
Google agreed to Chinese demands.
I know there was a lot of controversy surrounding that, and we had to self-censor a fair amount, but we were actually able to censor less and less, and our local competitors there also censor less and less. So I feel like our entry made a big difference. But things started going downhill.
Google discovered a cyber attack on their systems.
The more troubling thing to me is that we discovered the motivation, which we believed to be to gain access to Gmail accounts, in particular for Chinese human rights activists.
Google pulled the plug and redirected users to an unfiltered site in Hong Kong that isn't subject to censorship.